On February 20th, 2022, the United States experienced its first Pluto return. Now, Pluto returns occur approximately every 248 years. For the United States, it's been 246 years. So that's right within that range. And you can basically see the effects of this Pluto return if you turn on the news and you basically see reports about this economy with the inflation, the housing crisis, food prices skyrocketing, the labor shortage. All of this is dealing with this Pluto return. Basically, we're looking at the death of a nation. We're looking at the death of America as we know it. Now, we know when the United States was formed, they were basically in the midst of a revolution. They were trying to emancipate themselves from Great Britain's rule. Well, now we're still, with this Pluto return, we're looking at a revolution, but it's not by the people for the people. We're looking at a revolution that is being spearheaded by governments and corporations. And ever since Pluto has been in Capricorn, you've seen a major power grab by corporations and the government. And this pandemic has emboldened corporations and governments to destroy the fabric of this society, this nation, to destroy people's personal freedoms, to destroy the economy. Now, with the Pluto return, we're basically experiencing the Great Reckoning, but you can also look at this as the Great Reset. And the Great Reset is a term that these individuals at the World Economic Forum came up with this term. Basically, it's stating you will own nothing and you will be happy. The Great Reset is basically these people up at the top, the powers that shouldn't be, total global takeover. Major power grab by governments and corporations. Again, they're working in tandem. Now, Pluto will return to its natal position in the United States chart 3 times this year. So we already had the first Pluto return becoming exact on February 20th. The next one will be July 11th. And then the third one will be December 28th. So you can expect a lot more to go down in terms of economic downturn, inflation, housing crisis. I don't know if you noticed, but rent has gone up tremendously throughout this nation, especially in major cities. People are being priced out of homes. People are being priced out of the areas that they grew up in. Basically, we're looking at a regime change. And again, this is by design. So we could say bye-bye to capitalism because people are going to be screaming for a solution. And I believe the solution they're going to implement will be a socialistic type of government system that will eventually lead to communism. We're going the way of China, basically. We can also look at the possible death of the president, President Biden. And he is experiencing transits of the South Node, landing on his sun, Venus, Mars. So he may not survive those transits. He's already in a very feeble state. But basically, we're looking at the purge, and it's really affecting the middle class in particular. So the middle class, they always say that a thriving middle class was basically the heartbeat of this nation. So without a thriving middle class, this country is going to fold. And the housing crisis is bringing that about. Also, the rising food prices, the cost of utilities is going up, everything is going up. And then on top of that, we're experiencing a labor shortage. And it really became apparent to me when I went to Jack in the Box one night, because Jack in the Box stays open 24 hours. But when I went there, they were closed already. It was only 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, oh my God, like this is unprecedented. Also, my local Dunkin' Donuts, they close at 12 noon now. That's unheard of. So they're only open from like 5 a.m. to 12 noon, and then they close. And that's because they claim they are experiencing a labor shortage. not enough people are applying for these jobs and, want these jobs. Then it became even more apparent about how this nation is just folding when I was scheduled to receive a package from FedEx, and they claimed to deliver the package, but they didn't because I was home all day. And the customer service rep was no help at all. He was actually quite rude. They've outsourced their customer service department to India, which a lot of these major corporations do to save costs so that their CEOs can make even more money. But I started researching FedEx in terms of customer complaints. And there are so many complaints about FedEx. I had no idea because I usually don't get things delivered via FedEx. So I had no idea that FedEx has gone downhill tremendously. And they basically do not care if you get your package or not. And deliveries are delayed. Like, that's just a common occurrence. Some people aren't getting their deliveries at all. Like, I didn't get mine. And I had to contact the shipper and ask him to, rectify the situation and send back, send a new package or whatever. But just seeing a major company like FedEx just fumbling and dropping the ball and not giving a fuck, that's very concerning. Also, the extreme censorship that's being, that's taking place, especially on YouTube, just Google, period. People are getting spanked for saying things that go against the narrative, the jab and booster mandates. While the restrictions, the COVID restrictions have seemed to decrease in a lot of areas, there's still companies that are requiring the jab and the boosters and all that type of stuff. But again, basically, we're looking at the death of this nation. And it's not going to happen totally overnight. But if you've been paying attention, you'll see that things have really become problematic in this nation, especially in terms of the housing crisis. So rent has skyrocketed in a lot of areas, and the cost of homes have gone through the roof. You have a lot of corporations that are buying up homes, just driving up the price of these homes, and something has to give. But again, this is all by design. This is what they want. This is what the powers that be want. They want this great reset. And they have this quote, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." They don't want a nation of property owners. They don't want people to have any type of sovereignty anymore. They want to be totally in control over individuals' lives. So this Pluto return is very telling. And unfortunately, I really don't see no way out. So basically, we're going to have to adjust to these times. And it's only going to get worse before things get better, if they even get better. But the times where we could sit back as Americans and be kind of isolated from the struggles of the rest of the world, those times are quickly dissolving. And we're basically going to be in the same situation as countries like Venezuela and that have gone through severe economic downturns. So do what you can to prepare for the future, but it just doesn't look positive. There's really nothing I could say about this Pluto return that can produce anything, in the positive sense. I really don't see it. But what's interesting is back when this nation was first formed, Neptune was at the 22nd degree of Virgo. And with this current Pluto return, Neptune's at the 22nd degree of Pisces. So we're also experiencing a Neptune opposition with this Pluto return. And this Neptune opposition can deal with the pandemic, because Neptune does deal with illness, it deals with hospitals, medical facilities, all of that, but also just the fear, the abject fear that people are experiencing that's going to cause them to basically capitulate and kowtow to what these governments want. So yeah, things don't look good right now. And unfortunately, I don't have anything really positive to say about this Pluto return. It is what it is. And they always say all great nations are going to fall at some point, just like Rome did. So that's what we're looking at right now with the United States, the death of a nation as we know it. I'll be discussing this Pluto return for the United States more in detail as I, do some live streams as time goes on. But yeah, for now, I just wanted to get this out there and just basically talk about how this Pluto return is just, again, ushering in the death of this nation, at least as we know it. All right, stay tuned for some more videos. Peace.